legs will twitch. You know, I'll see that and then I'll say, oh, okay, this isn't good for her health. Which is why I argue with her and say, you know, come on, this is not good for either of us. I don't want to do something that's not good for you. I don't want to feel small in our relationship that, you know, I'm giving up $1,000 to $3,000, you know, every day to be with you and you're busy or something. So let's work through this and you know, sort it out. And there's other times when I'm busy writing one of my books and stuff and she'd like more attention and stuff. But anyway, this is phenomenal from my perspective because we rented this tiny little apartment, which I rented for her very cheaply because I wanted it to be something she could continue if we separated. I thought the relationship would end in a few months. And it's, you know, almost 2 years later and we're moving towards marriage in the next couple of weeks. So the thing that I look at most of all are trends around value, trends around growth, trends around things like her body. So the fact that twitching and self-mutilation is down 80% tells me that she's feeling 80% more secure and safe and loved than she did when I met her. Well, that's 80% healing in a couple of years is very good. I look at the same thing in myself because I had an eating addiction at the time because waves of grief would come up that were so big I'd never dealt with anything like that. And so I would just rub to, you know, stuff my face with something. And that's gone. And I don't make runs to the food because of this relationship, because I've been able to love someone. And going back to the choice to be loving, that's where it started. And the choice to be loving continues with the clarity that if she meets an opportunity, a growth cycle, or an individual that supports her, that at any point she should be free to leave within a week and be on that journey. I give myself the same freedom. I'm very excited about this newer experience. Like, you know, after 70 lover experiences, you've kind of done the hot and heavy, short-term romance thing. It's rather exciting to look at how to deeply and fulfillingly love another human being and really know them and be known. And I just finished the book, The Science of Secure Attachments, or The New Science of Attachment. I forget what it is. It's one or the other. And we're both mature enough to choose and want very, very deep, strong, attached relationships. And when I saw that after not being able to live with anyone, you know, until age 41, that we were surviving in a one-room apartment with me and still dealing with a lot of PTSD. I've got a whole house in the United States. And so for me, it's like, okay, if we can survive a one-room apartment, we can survive a house 10 times easier. If we can survive when I'm out of my comfort zone and I can't cook my food the way I like and da-da-da, we can survive in my comfort zone. And so, you know, so this was a test. And the way that I look at it, just as closing, is I think it's wonderful. And I thought this when I met, because what I thought when we started doing quite well in the first month of relationship, I thought, this is incredible. I have never been so controlling, so scared, so lonely, so needy, so angry, so difficult to sleep, so enraged, so addictive. I've never been this out of balance. And I thought, this is great. Because if she's loving me here, she has no idea what the top range or my average range is. And if she can make these, like take 2 weeks off work, then she took another month off. And then she took another month off. And then she quit her job. You know, I thought, if she's making these investments in us, with me at my worst, it's only going to get better from here. And I thought that was a great sign. I love that, because I hate it. I've always hated the stereotypical approach of trying to make a good impression on someone. I've always tried to make the worst possible impression that was realistic. You know, I'm not going to dress up for a first date. I'm going to dress exactly, I mean, let's dress as worse as you'll ever see me. Not trying to, but that way, if you accept that, then when I dress really nice, it'll be a nice surprise for you. You know, that's my thought. Because chemicals do a lot for relationship in the first week to 18 months. But then they disappear. Kind of the romantic hot lust stage of the relationship typically disappears somewhere between a few days and 18 months. And I wasn't terribly interested in sex when we first got together. I was interested in staying alive and learning how my body worked and stuff. So sex has gotten better at around the 18 months point. We just passed the 18-month point a few months ago. And sex is improving, phenomenally actually. And so I felt we paid attention to the fundamentals, which were being loving, which is all about just, if you want to be loving to someone, you know, as I say, first support them with survival. If their survival is in security, if their security is met, love and belonging. What makes them feel totally loved? And all of them belong. And going back to my sweetheart, the fact that she could tell me secrets and secrets and secrets that she had never told anyone, and I honored them, respected them, welcomed them, loved them, appreciated them, hugged her, and took care of those feelings, meant that parts of her that felt unwelcome anywhere else and unwelcome her entire life felt welcome. So that's belonging, meeting the need for the entire self to feel welcome and belonging. And then the fact that she was learning things built self-esteem. What we're doing is we're following Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. Pleasure, the need to feel pleasure. Oh, certainly moving from a dingy apartment to 5-star hotels and trying this and that is up in pleasure. And so helping her pleasure go up, her love and belonging, her security, her survival, her self-esteem, lifting that, teaching her, letting her know how special she is. Not in a self-important way, but I've talked with 10,000 women. Not a single one of them would do a user's manual. You did. Because one of the bizarre things with really bright, abused people is they don't know how great they are. Because they got the message at a young age that there was something wrong with them, that's why they were being abused. And of course, that's never the case. It's always the parent, it's always the environment. So she didn't know how amazing she was. And I've had to tell her more than 200 times, you know. No, it was pretty amazing. Yeah, and I did a lot of apologizing, because I knew when I was out of line. Because I had been a pretty great person for most of my life. And I was past some of my own boundaries in irritability, in criticalness, in impatience, because of the amount of pain that I was in. And so she had experienced a lot of abuse, so she didn't know what the line was that was healthy. You know, because no one had ever really been healthy with her. And so I would cross the line that I thought was healthy, and I would see it, and I would apologize, and she'd say, well, it's not a big deal. And I would say, yes, it is. It's a big deal to me, and I'm very sorry, and you don't deserve that. And it's not about you. I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm very sorry you're meeting me at this point, because you're such a wonderful person. I'd love to be at my best with you. But slowly that's come, and that was very important for me to see, that she deserves a me at my best. And the good news is the relationship is moving me in that direction. The relationship is moving me in that direction. And, the benefit. So there's a pleasure in knowing that I've been at my worst. And then and it's just getting better, month by month by month, better, better, better. And then we're just about at this point with this visa thing. She just got her US visa. That takes a shitload of pressure off the relationship, because I no longer have to worry about running out of all my money, courtesy of my government. And knowing that we need to be spending time together for our well-being, but we cannot because my government is so racist that it won't let me have poor friends. Well, it's nothing particularly new with the United States government, being racist and all this, but it's still, it's quite jarring to realize that your most important growth in area of love and well-being is actually being controlled by Big Brother with your money, and they could give a shit. I mean, it's outlandish. I'm very, very, very grateful to her for all that I've learned and all that I'm learning, and all that I've grown and all that I'm growing. I'm very, very, very grateful to her. I have always known that relationships with committed, honest people offer the single biggest doorway and opportunity to growth and well-being that is anywhere on the planet. And I've had bits and pieces of that, and this is just another deep drink of the fluid of synergy, love, and beauty that two individuals committed to well-being can co-create together. And I wish that. I wish that for you. And the reason I go into all these gritty details is your life is not a princess story. It's not a prince story. It's not a perfect story. If you're an American, you have almost certainly been abused, and in many cases have no idea how or why, or that you are. It's very hard in an emotionally numbing and illiterate culture to understand what feelings have been harmed or shamed or suppressed in what ways, for what reasons, and how. It's very difficult to understand that. But to the degree that you find yourself compulsively avoiding or doing anything is to the degree that you've got shame, trauma, and a level of abuse you're not able and ready to deal with alone. Well, 1 in 7 Americans are addicts to substance. 1 in 3 Americans have domestic violence if they have a domestic couple relationship. 1% of all Americans are in prison at $100,000 a year. I mean, this is, it's an astounding set. And then there's all kinds of phone addictions, this, that. Addiction is a symptom of pain. Numbness is a symptom of dissociation and trauma. Now, these don't just come out of nowhere. They come out of traumatic, abusive events that does not get addressed in the culture. You cannot have a healthy, loving relationship without dealing with trauma and abuse. And many people are more invested in pretending that it never happened and that it's over and da-da-da than they are in dealing with it, which makes it very difficult to love and be loved. But relationships of a healthy, honest nature do also offer the single biggest opportunity for healing. I do not know a single therapist on the planet who could help me as much as my sweetheart did. And money is not a big object when a relationship, takes $40,000 a month off work or something like that. I've worked with 30 therapists. Most of them are shit when it comes to knowing how to diagnose trauma, educate around trauma, respond to trauma. That's very sad to say, because there are so many people. I'm in the top third of trauma survivors, meaning there's more than 2/3 of people have more trauma and abuse than I have. And, it's a big thing to deal with. So thank you for your attention and time. And you honor me to the extent that you do by letting this change you, change values, change specific choices and habits, to improve your life, to honor your soul, your presence, your essence, your feminine self, your emotions, to take better care of your feelings, including the hate, including the rage, to express, to release, to understand, to be changed by who you are, to open the doorway, and keep in a nurturing and safe container. Hopefully you have support. Hopefully. Not probably. Hopefully. You have support, but there are also unseen friends. There are many guides and helpers if you ask. And if you get enough of the hate and rage and all of that out, that there's a little bit room to feel something other than those dark feelings, then some of the numbness can lift and there's a presence there that can help and be nurturing. Good luck, and I'll say goodbye.